Good morning. We are delighted to welcome families and the delegates from 15 UK boarding schools to the UK Boarding School exhibition for British Forces families this morning. Anderson Education have been working with British Forces families since 1999, offering free impartial help and advice to select the best boarding school for your child. We've been organising the UK Boarding School exhibition in Dubai, Nigeria and Ghana since 2006, and this is our 5th online exhibition this year. Please add any questions that you have to the chat feature so that we can go through those at the Q&A session at the end. All families should have received a copy of the school information sheet and the map showing the location of all of the schools. So you've got a brief introduction to the schools, the qualifications they offer, the age range and the youngest boarder. So the schools today will just have a brief introduction to say something about their school. If you would then like us to set up a Zoom or Skype call with the delegate, we can do that afterwards. So I'm just quickly introduce each school to you. So first of all, we have Ashville College. Fiona Wooley, Director of Admissions, Sally Warren, Head of Boarding, Sarah Dixon, Admissions. So over to you now, Ashville College. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome, and thank you for joining us this morning. So a little bit about Ashville College. We are on the edge of Harrogate with big 64-acre campus, very greenfield site. All of our facilities are on the same area, so there's no travelling around the town. We are Harrogate, which is North Yorkshire, very beautiful place, and we are very close to the A1M, so good road access to forces bases in the northeast and east. For those of you who've visited before, you'll know that Harrogate is a very beautiful town. It has a lot of attractions, the main one being, of course, Betty's Tea Rooms, which are enjoyed by boarders and visiting families alike. Beautiful countryside, Yorkshire Dales and Yorkshire Moors. We are a very diverse community here, over 20 different nationalities across the college. 30% of our boarders are British. We are a selective school, but we are looking for the all-round pupils. So it's not just a selective school on academics, although we do have baseline for entry. Very good results, A-level results particularly pleased with this year. So 39% of our grades were at A-star A. Our pupils excel academically. They've got lots of other passions which are brought into the timetable, so extra time is given to co-curricular, so drama, art, music and sport. We have a competitive house system, and it is competitive, but it's not just sporting. We cover arts, music and drama as well. We offer scholarships across academia, music, art, drama and sport to those who have potential or who are already excelling in their particular area. We have a 600-seat auditorium, so we use this for assemblies, presentations, concerts and of course performances. On-site sports centre, this really is a showpiece for us. Contains 2 big sports halls, 30-metre indoor pool, 2 squash courts, a gym and a dance studio, and then outside we've also got AstroTurf, rugby pitches, tennis courts and so on. With regard to boarding, we have 4 boarding houses, a senior girls' house, 2 senior boys' houses and our junior house, Green Home, which is for boys and girls ages from 8 to 13. So boarding life mimics a family. We have resident boarding house tutors who live on site with their own families, and they are supported by house matrons and also house tutors who will be members of the academic staff. The boarding weekend is a busy one. We keep the pupils occupied. There's lots of choice of activities. We don't have fixed exeats, although parents are welcome to come and take their children out for a weekend on arrangement with the house parents. But there's lots of activities, often in normal times, Saturday sports fixtures and Sunday outings around the area. So we go to places like York, or we go to the beach, theme parks. Billy Bob's Ice Cream Parlour is a perennial favourite. Special occasions in the boarding house, so all birthdays are celebrated, calendar festivities, so Easter, Christmas, so on, but also culturally appropriate celebrations for our boarding house pupils. Long history of welcoming forces families to Ashville. We understand the unique circumstances that they are in. We do try to support academic financially as well, and we do offer a discount to forces families. So why choose us? Big range of subjects offered, wide range at GCSE and A-level, so a strong academic offering, but that's not what it's all about. It is about the whole person, so we offer a very good extracurricular co-curricular programme, and our enrichment programme will set that out for you, and happy to send that on to anybody who would be interested. Thank you for watching. I hope that's given you a very quick walkthrough of Ashville. Any questions at the end, we'll be very happy to answer. We have our online open day on Saturday, 3rd of October, which you can sign up to via our website. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fiona. That's very informative. And 2 questions that forces families come up with were answered there, about no fixed EXIATs and also the forces discount. Now I'd like to introduce Rachel Scannell, Assistant Head at Bromsgrove School. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning. Good morning to you all. Thank you for being here today. Can I just start by saying that nothing quite replaces a visit. So please do come and visit our schools. Being able to come onto the campus, seeing the children in lessons, watching how they interact with, you know, teachers, support staff, tells you so much more about a school. And I know we would all make you very welcome. Very briefly then, a quick overview about Bromsgrove. Bromsgrove is a really old school. It's 500 years old, and it's a traditional British boarding school. Fortunately, not all the buildings are, you know, 500 years old and needing refurbishing. We've invested hugely in facilities over the years. It's a big campus. We have over 100 acres of green walled campus, which makes it a very safe and secure environment. It's also big in numbers, so we have in our prep school about 530 children, and in our senior school 980, with 520 boarders starting from age 7. We have 120 forces children, so we too have, you know, a long and proud tradition of welcoming forces families and recognising the constraints upon those families within our community. And so again, we too do not have compulsory fixed EXIAT weekends, but it's also not a prison. You know, so if you do want to come down, take your children out, or they're invited to stay with somebody else, that's also perfectly possible. And we too offer forces discount. Bromsgrove is about breadth, it's about choice. So we offer GCSEs, but in the 6th form, we also offer A-levels, the International Baccalaureate, and BTECs. So we try and find the right academic programme to match each individual's strengths. We have superb academic results, and we're really proud of them. But it's not just about the academics, it's about all of the social skills that coming to a boarding school gives you, the continuity of education, and all of those other activities that you may not otherwise get to do. So whether it's ranking in the top 6 for sport for the last 6 years out of 26 sports, or this year winning the School Magazine of the Year at Shine Media Awards, or even our school kit car called the Chicken becoming crowned world champions. You know, it's everything. We have activities that appeal to all of your children's interests, we hope. Excellent pastoral care, 13 boarding houses with house staff really looking after your children. It is a busy school. It's a demanding school. There are easier schools to choose. I'm being very honest and out there from the beginning, but it's an exciting place to be. Pupils are described as happy, friendly and welcoming. And I really would love to welcome you to Bromsgrove so you can meet some Bromsgrovians yourself. You'd be really welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Again, another question often asked by forces families, how many other forces boarders? So 120 is a very good number. Now I'd like to introduce Kate Mallalieu-Black, UK admissions manager at Giggleswick School. Thank you, Kate. Katie, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself? Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me now? Hello, thank you, and a very warm welcome to you all from Giggleswick School. We're in the heart of the Yorkshire Dales. It's lovely to meet you this morning. My name's Katie and I'm the UK admissions manager here, so I will get to know you very well on your admissions process as we go through the school. At Giggleswick, we welcome people of all ages into school from age 2 up to 18. But at every level, our aim is to make sure that they're happy and inspired to do their best. We're a very warm and welcoming community, and we're a small school. We have 350 pupils in the senior school and 75 in the junior school. So I think when people come and visit us, the main thing they take away from their visit is that we have a really family feel to our school. Everybody knows everybody. We're a popular choice of school with forces families, and this year we have 25 in school with us, and they have families stationed from around the world in Poland, Saudi Arabia, Cyprus, and at various points throughout the UK. We do everything we can to be a friendly, supportive and positive environment. So to make sure the children quickly feel very much at home here, they become a very valued member of our community, and they soon feel that we are their new home from home. 64% of our pupils are boarders, and we take children from year 5 upwards. So their welfare and their well-being is our priority. My son actually came to Giggleswick. He was here and joined us in year 10 and stayed for 4 years. So I know the school both as a parent and as a member of staff. And I can say that he settled in really, really quickly and had a fantastic time here and made lifelong friends, and had the opportunity to participate in experiences that he would never normally have been able to do. Giggleswick's a traditional boarding school, so we have an extended day which finishes at 6 o'clock. Then the children have tea, and there are evening activities which go on till 7:15 and later as the children progress up through the school. The whole school has Saturday school, so they come in for 3 lessons in the morning, and then there's usually a sports fixture. This at the moment is a sport activity. For boarders at the weekend, there's always a Saturday night activity. I think the most popular is a talent show, so they have big screen videos and pizza nights. And Sunday activities, there's always a regular trip and visit going on outside school. These are all covered in the fees. Your child just might need a bit of pocket money if they want to buy a drink or a snack whilst they're out. We do have fixed exi outs in school. We have one every half term. And we have our own minibuses and use our own drivers to transfer children to the local train station. We have 2 in easy reach. And Manchester Airport's our nearest main airport, and that's about an hour and a half away. Giggleswick offers a fantastic CEA allowance to forces families, so I'd be really happy to send the details over about that. We have a very effective communication with our parents. We have a weekly newsletter is sent home via email, so you can keep in touch with what's going on in school. Wherever you are in the world, you can keep in touch with your child's progress. So we have a new parent portal this year we've introduced. And we truly believe that Giggleswick can equip, inspire and motivate our pupils with the skills and the confidence they need to go on to their next stage of their educational career. We'd love to meet you in person. There's nothing like coming into school and having a one-to-one tour around, have a chat with the headmaster. Sadly, our open day is going to be an online one, so our next open day is on the Saturday, 3rd of October, and we'd love to see you there, visit us through there, or meet you in person if we can. Thank you very much. It's been lovely to talk to you.
Thank you, Katie. Good to hear that activities, which are extensive at Giggleswick, are included in the fees. Again, that's another question we get from Forces families.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce Alexandra Pudge, the Lucton School Student Recruitment Officer. Thank you, Alexandra.
Hello, and welcome from Lucton School. I think a lot of what I'm going to say is going to repeat quite a lot of what other schools have been saying, so I will try and sort of give the sort of potted highlights. So we're based in Herefordshire. A lot of people don't know where Herefordshire is, but if you're in army circles, you probably will because of the SAS base. Very famous Stirling lines. We're based on the Welsh border, easy reach of the Midlands. So for a lot of parents, it's actually not too far from us at all. Lots of countryside, and because of the countryside, we've been able to have our own equestrian centre. So if you have got a daughter or son who enjoys their horse riding, they're more than welcome to bring their pony along or use one of ours. We are extremely family friendly school. We are certainly a sort of nice, small, middling sized school with a third of our students being boarders. I came to Lucton myself as a student and also boarded, so I can recommend the facilities and the teachers, some of which are still here from when I was here, which is terrifying on so many levels because they haven't aged. One of the nicest things about Lucton is that our students are genuinely known. I know that's often a tagline for schools, but genuinely our students are known. Yesterday I had a parent walking around and our headmaster was able to tell them about their children because he actually teaches them. So that's one of the nicest parts of the school, is that we can actually say honestly that your child will be known by all of our teachers, not just academically, but also in all of their extracurricular activities. So we do offer CEA allowance, and we also, for the local bases, offer a Forces bursary for day students who are also in the army. We are a school that does not have Saturday school, which is a little bit more unusual. Instead, the boarders do a very action-packed weekend with lots of activities. These are all included in the fees. The parents don't need to spend any extra, they just might need a little bit of pocket money. We're obviously being COVID safe at the moment, but normally it's something that's a bit more outward bounds, places going like Cadbury's World, lots of fun things for our boarders to do. It allows us to be quite flexible as well, because some parents might live a bit more locally and it might mean they want their children home at the weekends. That is also welcome. So we're a very flexible school. We offer GCSEs and A-levels. This year particularly, we have been getting better and better and better results. And so we take, considering we're a non-selective school, so children from a range of different backgrounds and abilities do come to us and achieve extremely good results. But more than that, a lot of our students get to enjoy a wide range of activities. We have a very large CCF contingent, including Air Force now, that's very popular. And in fact, all of our students from year 9 up through to GCSEs have to do it mandatorily, and they really enjoy it. On top of that, for a small school, we offer a huge range of sports, everything from rugby to triathlon. We have a lot of the National School Association competitions ran from us purely because we have such a large amount of space and some really good facilities. Everything from an indoor swimming pool, like I mentioned before, our own equestrian centre. And that's us in a nutshell.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. So for budding equestrian students, that's a great option at Lucton School. Now I'd like to introduce Tracey Keel, Engagement Manager at Malvern College. Welcome, Tracey. Tracey, you need to unmute yourself, please.
How's that?
Yes, great, thanks.
Okay, well, Malvern College is best described as a seat of learning, a place of innovation, and a home away from home. We're nestled at the base of the Malvern Hills in an area of outstanding natural beauty, yet with easy access to the major motorways, airports, and railway network. We are a co-educational full boarding and day school with 11 boarding houses and a strong academic focus. At common entrance, the pass rate is 50%, but the average for Malvern is 65. In the sixth form, we offer both A-levels and IB, and Malvern College ranks in the top 5 of independent schools who offer IB. Over 75% of our pupils are full boarders, but we do offer restricted responsive boarding for individual circumstances and needs. Our day pupils, they're fully integrated into our boarding houses and often stay until 9 p.m. in the evening and coming back at the weekends for activities. School finishes after lessons on Saturday lunchtime, and the afternoon is full of CCA activities. I can't remember them all, but there's Duke of Edinburgh Award, there's sport, music, CCF, outdoor pursuits. A first-class education is our focus, and the school has a super curriculum, which is a programme of academic enrichment, which is pupil-led and aims to stretch and challenge pupils so they improve their critical thinking, their reasoning and their presentation skills. And in doing so, that helps them develop those broader or softer skills which will support them throughout adult life. So that's cultural awareness and emotional intelligence. We aim to transform the world of pupils who come to Malvern College, and we encourage them to take part in all the activities that we have to offer. It is a home away from home, and we have a group called Pupil Thrive, which is volunteer pupils who meet with teachers and tutors and will raise suggestions, highlight issues and chat through ideas. In-house there is dining, which the pupils value. The buzz in there when you go at meal times, it is quite natural and very spontaneous, but it's also an opportunity for the housemaster or the housemistress to observe and just to make sure that the child is happy, is contented, is eating well, and nip any potential issues appropriately and sensitively before they become a problem. Now, each house has a chef, and that chef reports to an executive chef, and they in turn meet with pupil representatives to talk about various food choices and preferences and food quality. And you will find that the menu does vary in the girls' house and the boys' houses. We do offer discounts for Forces families, and there is also a bursary called the Grant Moss Award available for the right candidate. We do have a virtual open day on Saturday the 3rd of October, and as the other schools have said, there's nothing like a visit to come onto site, go into the houses and to chat with pupils who will tell you exactly what it's like to live and learn at Malvern. So we hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tracey. 75% full boarding is really good. A full boarding community is important to Forces and international borders. Now I'd like to introduce Susan McKee, Admissions Manager at Queen Ethelburga's Collegiat. Thank you, Susan. Can you unmute yourself, Susan?
I'm there. Hello, so I'm Susan, obviously representing Queen Ethelburga's Collegiat. We are a large school. We're set in the rural area of North Yorkshire as well, in between Harrogate and York. We're based on a 220-acre site, so we have a full large campus, and all of our boarding facilities are within our campus walls, which makes us a nice, secure place for students to be. Especially at the moment. So we have around 1,200 students, of which 850 are boarders. We currently have 300 armed forces families that are currently with us. So as you can see, we are quite popular with the armed forces family, and I think that's due to our wraparound care that we provide for them, a strong pastoral support as well, running our Thrive programme. We have Forces liaison officers in place, so they are geared to work with our students on a one-to-one level. Any of the families who may be posted overseas or on deployments, we kind of have a full package in place to help them stay in touch with their parents and offer a lot of mentoring and support for them as well. This is sometimes run by our buddying system, so that's students who have our sixth form peer mentors who will work with our younger forces students to deal with any support they need to. and offers them a friendly face around the campus. We are a non-selective school, so we offer an opportunity to all, and we have good grades as well. So our pass rate at A level is at 84% at the moment, which is great, from A star to A. So for a non-selective school, they're good pass rates. So students do have to sit an entry test, but it's a Cat 4 cognitive ability test, and it just gives us an idea on where that student is currently. So it's nothing to worry about. We are open as well, so we would like you to come and visit us at any time. We offer full support for CEA and a good bursary of around 33%, which means that we can bring the termly fees are currently set at £995 per term, which is an amazing opportunity for families. We also support the childcare voucher scheme as well, and scholarships we offer. If you are not eligible for CEA, we offer a 15% bursary, scholarship award, and families eligible to apply for any one of our scholarships that we offer in academic, sport, drama, music as well. This is quite, I've lost myself. 4 minutes is quite long, isn't it? So we will welcome you to visit at any time. I'm just trying to think of other key points for you, really. We have excellent sporting facilities. If you come onto our site, you'll see we've just had Newcastle United here using us for their pre-season training, so that kind of speaks for itself on the level of our sporting facilities. And we offer, obviously our academics are broad with breadth. We offer A-levels, GCSEs and BTECs across them as well, in all kinds of different subjects. So there's always an opportunity for all. Our stripline motto is to be the best that you can with the gifts that you have, and I truly believe that Queen Ethelburga is about that. You know, we can work with each student on their strengths and help them achieve what they need to achieve.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay,
lovely message that working with the strengths that the children have got, and also highlighting that for £995 per term you can get a great education.
Yeah.
Now I'd like to introduce Lisa Palmer, Head of Admissions and Marketing at Queen's College, Taunton. Morning, Lisa. Thank you.
Morning, everybody. Thank you very much for involving me in this today. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to talk to you, although disappointed that I didn't get to meet some of you in person. I hope that will follow. Queen's College Taunton is down in the southwest of the UK. Most of you in the any links with the forces will know, because we're surrounded by a network of various bases. Bristol Airport is under an hour away. We're 10 minutes from the M5 motorway, and the local train station, which is the main route, London is 1 hour 40, is literally under 10 minutes from school. Queen's is a non-selective school of about 700 students in total, so we're a good size. We have a junior school which goes up to year 6, and a senior school from year 7 to 13 on one campus. So we're arranged slightly differently from some of those where their prep school perhaps goes up to year 8. We have about 50 children with us at the moment from forces families, and they are part of a boarding population of about 170 students, which is made up of 1 junior boarding house, and then we have 2 senior girls' houses and 2 senior boys' houses. Our boarding population is just over 40% British students. We have no fixed exeats. We understand, particularly for forces families, that actually flexibility around when children can be taken out of school and spend time with their families is absolutely crucial. So that can be very flexible. We don't do Saturday school either, which again adds to that flexibility. Each weekend for our 170 boarders, there's a full programme of sports, co-curricular activities, workshops, events and trips every Saturday evening. There are activities and workshops. Sundays there is always a trip or opportunity to go off campus when we're able to do so. So for those that are here, which is usually about 85% of boarders are here every weekend, there is lots going on and plenty to get involved in. And for those that want support with their studies, that can be built into the weekend too, of course. But it means that actually gives you the ultimate flexibility. Queen's has got a dedicated forces liaison officer, a former Mr. Philip Mann, who served for several years before joining Queen's, so understands that actually military life can often add additional emotional pressure to the children that are with us at the time, and he also understands how things work in the military and the challenges that can be faced. So he provides a really strong link between the day-to-day ongoing activities of the school and studies and the families. You know, at any time you can not just contact one of us or the tutors, but you've got direct access to Philip, who will understand exactly where you're coming from, and even understand the language that you're using. That if you spoke to somebody else, they may not quite have that experience. In addition to a dedicated forces liaison officer, there is a really strong support network around all our boarders, as well as the house staff. There's a network of tutors, medical staff, as well as the teachers, and there's a lot of camaraderie between the houses, certainly at the weekends during activities, but also inter-house competitions. The day students are the big proportion of our school, and they are very much integrated as well into our houses, are not split up, and they are all integrated, the day and boarding together. So the boarding students have lots of friends who are day students, and that does provide opportunity to do things with other families and visit off-site as well. In terms of a package for forces families, we do obviously take the CEA. So forces families pay 10% of the net fee. We calculate and adjust that when there's a change in rate of the CEA, which obviously does get updated from time to time. Forced families who are not eligible for CEA, who may live locally, are also, they receive a 20% automatic discount, but there is, as with any other child applying to Queen's, there are scholarships and bursaries available, and they are also available to those families. There is the opportunity to top up where needed and where appropriate to do so. The final things that we try and include in the package for forces families is that initial setup costs in terms of uniform are included, as well as the activities at the weekends, etc. So the extras for boarding families and those initial setup costs moving from schools are all included. We really hope they will consider Queen's. We'd love to have the opportunity to meet you here, to show you around our lovely school. It is very warm, very friendly, very beautiful, lots of lovely clean fresh air and plenty of space, nice and calm and stable learning environment, but very accessible too. If you would like to know more, we made the decision not to, there's no such thing, it's very difficult to replace an open day and the buzz and the lovely atmosphere that creates with trying to do the same thing virtually. So we've taken a different approach to many schools, and we're actually having multiple events for different groups of people. So as well as a sort of, we are having obviously one for sixth form, one for boarding, one for the junior school, etc. We're breaking those virtual events down to specific groups, and we've got 2 dedicated virtual open events for military families, one on the 8th of October and one on the 19th of November. So I'd be pleased to share more information about that with you, and very, very happy. Lots of our families have contacted me to say that they'd be very pleased to, existing Forces families, be very pleased to talk to you at any time. So if you'd like to be put in touch with Forces families already at Queen's, I'm sure they can tell you more than I can. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Really reassuring for families to hear about that you have a dedicated Forces liaison officer, and also to be put in contact with other Forces families to share the experience. Now I'd like to introduce you to Helen Pollard, Director of Marketing at the Royal Alexandra and Albert School. Morning, Helen.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm aware that parents will be hearing a lot of presentations today. So for the Royal Alexandra and Albert School, I'm going to focus on a few key numbers. The first number is 50. This relates to the fundamental difference between this school and many other schools. We are a state boarding school, a non-selective school where the state pays for the education, so the parents only pay for the boarding. That means our fees of £5,250 a term are 50% less than those of a typical independent school, and well within the limit of the continuity of education allowance. As a state school, pupils must be UK citizens or entitled to state education in the UK. But paying 50% less doesn't mean you compromise on quality, and this brings me to the second number, the number 1. It's not a big number, but it's hugely significant in the context of our GCSE results this summer. We're a non-selective school, but we excel in terms of adding value, and amongst the top 10% of schools in the country for this. The number 1 is significant because, on average, our pupils achieved 1 grade higher in every GCSE subject than would have been expected based on their assessments when they joined the school. So we're very proud of that. The third number is a bit bigger. That's 140. And that's how many different activities we typically offer each term after school as part of our co-curricular programme. I won't go through 140 activities now, but I'll focus on a few that make us a bit different. Unusually for a boarding school, especially a state school, we have an equestrian centre. This has 20 horses, an indoor and outdoor riding school, and pupils enter local show jumping and dressage events. We also have excellent music facilities, and this year will become an all Steinway school. This means that pupils will learn to play the piano on new Steinway pianos, which are considered to be some of the best in the world. We place great emphasis on sport and have directors of sport for our main disciplines of rugby, netball, swimming, cricket and football. In recognition of our expertise in music and sport, we offer scholarships for boarding entry to Year 7, Year 9 and the sixth form. So those are a few of our 140 activities, and clearly as a school which has about a third of our boarders being MOD, we also have a strong CCF programme. The last number is 260. We're located in 260 acres of beautiful Surrey parkland, as you can probably see behind me. That's one of our boarding houses that you can see at the top of the hill. And yet we're very close to both Gatwick and Heathrow airports. We're also close to London and all it has to offer, and pupils often go on trips to London shows, events and attractions. Within our 260 acres of parkland, we have 9 boarding houses for our 500 boarders. These houses accommodate boys and girls from the age of 7 to 18. Indeed, we're the only state boarding school to cover this age range, which makes us popular with MOD families, as children of different ages and genders can attend the same school. We also have no fixed exeats in common with many schools you've heard from today. So those are the important numbers. 50% or half the cost of independent school, value added that results in 1 grade higher in every subject, 140 co-curricular activities for our pupils each term, and 260 acres of beautiful grounds, and yet so close to airports. One final thing though, and it's not a number, it's a quote from our most recent Ofsted inspection for boarding, where we were rated as outstanding. Ofsted said, "The school provides a secure environment in which children and young people flourish, achieve academically, stretch their abilities and develop social skills." That's the Royal Alexandra and Albert School in a nutshell. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Helen. Some really interesting facts there, and remembering the 50% equestrian centre and Steinway pianos. Now I'd like to introduce Kate Evers, Registrar at Royal Hospital School. Thank you, Kate.
Good morning, my name's Kate and I'm the Registrar at the Royal Hospital School. which is set in 200 acres of beautiful Suffolk countryside on the banks of the River Stour. So if you're familiar with Ipswich area, we're just on the coast near there. At RHS, we have 710 pupils, and that includes about 350 full and weekly boarders. Of those boarding pupils, 66 are currently in receipt of the CEA, and a further 51 pupils have direct connections to the Navy. For families who are eligible for CEA, we offer a further discount so that you'll only be paying 10% of the school fees. And this is currently £870 per term, which I'm sure you'll agree is excellent value. We have an extremely long naval heritage, so we're 300 years old, and we're very proud of our links to the Navy and connections with all the services. So whilst we are a very modern, forward-thinking school, we also keep some of those traditions inspired by our military history. So most significant probably are our divisions parades, which take place 8 times a year on the school's parade ground. And they're a fantastic occasion for pupils, parents and staff. And it really is a very proud moment for parents when they come and watch their young Year 7s who've just joined the school marching for the first time. It's quite something. The marching band is spectacular, and our prefects spend quite an amount of time practicing with the little ones and the new recruits. We also make the most of our water relocation with a fantastic sailing academy. So all our Year 7 pupils will learn to sail. We've got 60 dinghies in the sailing academy on the big reservoir. You might be able to see behind me here. And a fleet of Cornish shrimpers, because we have 2 tidal rivers either side of the school. So Cornish shrimpers are keel boats, and the pupils can just sign up at weekends, go off, have inter-house shrimper sailing, cooking competitions. They can even do their Duke of Edinburgh Award expeditions on board, which saves lugging that rucksack. Our CCF, Combined Cadet Force, is one of the most active in the country and has around 400 pupils involved in 4 sections: Army, Navy, Marines and Air Force. All our pupils take part from Year 9 to the end of Year 10, after which it's optional, but many stay on. CCF field days, camps, and even an annual exchange with US cadets provide fantastic opportunities and experiences for our pupils. And we estimate actually that around 10% of each cohort of leavers will join the services, usually after university. I think there's around 200 former pupils currently serving. As I'm sure you'll appreciate, one of the key considerations when looking for a boarding school is to check how many pupils stay in at the weekend. And I'm pleased to say that around 60% of our boarders remain at school over the weekend. We have Saturday school, including morning lessons and sport for everyone. And then boarders will enjoy the grounds and facilities, perhaps a barbecue, a trip to town or cinema, a late brunch on Sunday, and all important chill time as well. The house system is very, very important here, and we really pride ourselves on pastoral care. So within the house, your child will have a pastoral team, matron, house parents, and also dedicated tutors who'll get to know them really well. We've got 12 houses here, and all our new joiners in Year 7 will be in their own house, Blake House, and that provides a really lovely, gentle start to life at boarding school, very, very caring, and really, really helping the children find out about what senior school life is all about. Co-curricular and life skills, very important here. We place great emphasis on life out of the classroom as well as in the classroom. And I think we've got 190 activities going at the moment, despite all the COVID restrictions. So that's fantastic, and everybody will find something they enjoy. Pupils are encouraged to try at least 3 activities a week and try something new, slightly push themselves out of their comfort zone. And there's music, sport, art, drama, baking, robotics, board games, you name it, it's here. I just wanted to touch on remote learning as well. So if we do have another situation where we're in lockdown, we are already recording all lessons and delivering them to those who couldn't get here this term because of where they live. So our pupils experienced the full curriculum last term, and it was really, really well received. So there's no worries on that front. Just to mention on A levels and BTECs, we spend a lot of time with our sixth form developing them for life beyond school, really important. They have a program of life skills where they do finance and cooking on a budget and all those things you need for life beyond school, but also developing their kind of awareness of the world. We can live in a bit of a bubble in these lovely schools, so we invite in speakers from the outside, and they have lots of experiences. We offer 24 subjects at A level, plus 3 BTECs, so the BTEC in entrepreneurship and enterprise, BTEC in creative digital media, and a BTEC in sport. And whilst most of our pupils do go on to university and some top universities, some go down the apprenticeship route, which is really encouraged as well. So I'd be really happy to answer any questions. Obviously, like the others have said, you can't beat visiting and coming to experience the atmosphere and ethos here, and we would absolutely love to welcome you here. We also have an open morning virtual on the 3rd of October, but there's another one on the 14th of November if you can't make the 3rd of October. So do come and visit. We'd love to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. And that does make it so much easier for families when schools say that Forces families just pay the mandatory 10% rather than working out scholarships and bursaries. Now I'd like to welcome Mark Heywood, Principal at Royal Wolverhampton School. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Sarah. Good morning, everybody. Absolute pleasure to talk to you today. I have with me in the background, you'll see my admissions team of Meg, Natalie and Jamie, who will hopefully give that personal approach, which is what the Royal School is particularly proud of and is really important to us. As a school, we really focus very much on character development for every youngster and the staff and their personal development too. It's about independence. It's about making sure we're an aspirational culture, that every child has their unique gifts, and we try and foster that through the academic programme, the cultural programme and the co-curricular programme. We are on the western fringe of the West Midlands, very easily accessible from the major airports of Birmingham and Manchester, and have bespoke transport links from those airports to school and back through the terms. We don't run exeats because we believe that that's a bit of more of an inconvenience than a useful addendum. But we do obviously have a very family-based environment where if families want to come and pick up their youngsters for a weekend away, of course, that would be absolutely accessible. The personal development about young people is really our passion here at the Royal. And we really try to make sure our day and boarding environment mixes seamlessly. So you wouldn't be able to kind of pick between those. And actually all of our activities, and we have more than 100 activities each week for students in our period 7, which is beyond our 6-period academic day. All of those are integrated so that boarding students and day students are shoulder to shoulder, learning together, developing skills, developing character, and making sure that they kind of learn those skills of resilience and those of developing positive relationships. And in the boarding environment, we take that actually even more so, and we have a boarding passport. So rather than just leaving it to chance, we actually take an active interest in each individual and actually have a bespoke package where they have a variety of things that they have to do over a term, over the year, to make sure that they're tapping into their intellectual, their aesthetic, their sporting, their physical, and their emotional areas to really develop that personal characteristics to take on. No surprise then that 93% of this year's year 13 went on to their first choice universities. We're not academically selective, but as other schools this morning, we want to make sure that the youngsters really do achieve their potential and make sure that they've got all of the opportunities beyond them, and we too run BTECs. We are a state boarding school and we have a range of abilities. We don't select by ability. We have A-levels are our predominant course through to university. The BTECs are there because we have some youngsters in the same way, as Kate was saying, to go on to apprenticeships and directly into work in some cases, and we want to do so, and including the armed forces, which is a popular destination for a number of youngsters. So as a state boarding school, it's kind of very good value for money, and we follow that through. We want to make sure that we have an integrated program at the weekends. So we don't have Saturday morning school, but we do have a rich and diverse program of activity. So this Sunday, for example, I'm really looking forward to taking a group of the boarders out walking in the Shropshire Hills, which are some 30 minutes away. And in terms of location for youngsters, we believe we have the best of both. We have the urban area of Birmingham on our doorstep within 20 minutes on a train or tram, but equally in 20 minutes we can be out in the Shropshire countryside enjoying horse riding, mountain biking, as we were a couple of weekends ago at Cannock Chase. So that kind of diversity, the access to the cultural centres of Birmingham, under normal circumstances that would be, of Birmingham, with the theatres, concerts, music, sport and other activities, is really important. And I think the other elements which make us slightly distinctive is that we have an internationally renowned swimming program. So one of our elite swimmers, who these guys train 30 hours a week in the pool, which is bonkers by any measure. But actually, some of them have gone on to the International Swimming League. Matt Richards is heading towards the Olympics next year. So those swimmers set the tone for other people as well in the boarding house. That actually, it's about aspiration. It's about fitting everything into that one program. And we also have a link with Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Academy, and we have a number of our boarders who actually play and heading towards a professional football career. We have the usual CCF, the Army and Air Force contingent, and I've just heard today that we have a Puma landing from RAF Benson this afternoon as kind of one of the urban training sites that they use. All of our boarders stay for the weekends, so it's a community that works, plays and lives together, and absolutely really crucial that that community stays together. And more than 50% of our boarders now are UK based, and the rest are from the EU. But we have quite a diverse population, as you can imagine. We have a dedicated services officer, John Barton, who's an assistant house parent in one of the houses, the boarding houses, and he's also one of our CCF contingent commanders. So all of that adds up to a program where for the forces families, this is a home away from home. It's an experience to develop their personality, their character, which is going to take them beyond their A-levels, beyond their GCSEs, to actually make them successful young people for the future, to be leaders, team players, but actually successful and most importantly, happy individuals. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Mark. Good to hear about the Wolverhampton Wanderers football and your elite swimming programme. And also really nice to see Meg again. It's been a few years since I've visited. Meg knows the school incredibly well. She's been there a long time. Now I'd like to introduce you to Guy Emmett, the headmaster at Scarborough College. Hello, Guy. Ooh.
Hi there, sorry, just unmuting myself there. First of all, it's a pleasure to see so many different schools from across the country. We really do have outstanding schools, and it is the reason why British education stands out amongst the rest of the world, whether you're in the delightful fields of Sedbergh or further afield down south. But of course, I'm here to talk about Scarborough College and our wonderful school. So wonderful that we've even decided to move here as a family with our two children. My wife and I, we've bought a house, very settled here. And part of the reason for that is not the history of the town, the history of the school, the family atmosphere, and the fact there's just so much to do. So firstly, in terms of Scarborough College, it's a Queen Victorian school. It's a school that has boarding at the heart of all that it does. And yesterday we actually had a visit from one of Sarah's colleagues, Diane, and I think she picked up on the things that I like are old-fashioned values. When she spoke to me about the pupils yesterday, I was proud to hear they opened the door for her. They smiled, they communicated, they spoke to her. She didn't see mobile phones. That's partly because we embrace the modern world, but actually at our school, for example, there were no need for mobile phones for 11 to 15 years of age, for example. That we're a Google Classroom school. Everyone has a Chromebook. So at break time, rather than being on their phone, our children will be communicating, spending time with each other, throwing a ball around. Of course, in the last few weeks that has been slightly different with social distancing. But what I take great pride on at our school is the moment you walk through the door, it doesn't matter which people you meet or member of staff, I guarantee there'll be a hello and a warm feeling. And what I urge you to do, with so many great schools to choose from, is to visit and actually to see what and meet the people. So for example, if you can't physically visit a school, make sure you meet the house parent that your child is going to be with. Who is going to be the second mum and dad to your child? So when they're ill or when they're struggling in a subject and they need a shoulder to cry on or a word of encouragement, who is that person? Because whilst I'm important, hopefully as a headmaster, I'm not as important as a house parent. The best job in the world, by the way. In terms of Scarborough College, many schools talk about being a family, a home from home, and of course we take great pride in this. But I always say, well, let's prove it. So what have we done in the last few years? Well, we've invested over £4 million in our boarding, and if you look on the website, you will see it is stunning. It is as good as anywhere I've worked, with many single rooms, but of course for the younger ones, double rooms, to keep that community spirit. And I look at an example of a pupil that has arrived called Joseph. So Joseph is a Forces boy. He's a Yorkshire boy, and he came back to Scarborough College with his family in Germany. And I asked him recently, I said, why do you like Scarborough College? And he said, well, it's the small things. I'm in a boarding house of 17 boys. It feels like a family. We have 2 teachers on duty every night. So somebody could be playing pool with Joseph while somebody else is helping him with his homework earlier on. And there's a great mix of nationalities. The number one nationality is British. None of them are weekly boarders in his house, that they stay at the weekend. But we do, of course, have some weekly boarders across the school. But the joy for Joseph has been that he's discovered a great love of drama. He was one of the leads in the school play, despite being only 11 years of age, now 12. He's sharing a room with another boy called Joseph, who actually lives in Northampton, has come all the way up to Scarborough, and is also a budding actor, having played one of the Banks children in Mary Poppins in the West End. But he's also played rugby for the school, cricket, hockey. He may not be very good at one of those sports, but it doesn't matter. He gets a chance to participate. He gets a chance to improve. And that's a bit like academics. What he's discovered is a love of a foreign language, a love of learning, actually being resilient, that if you're not quite good at a subject, that you keep going and you keep having, they call it up at this school Yorkshire grit. And that is one of the things that he stressed to me, was that every single pupil, year 7 to year 9, takes part in Yorkshire grit. And that's what makes an example of why we're different. So for example, each year 7 pupil has already surfed in the North Sea. Now on a day like today, that might seem like you need to gain grit. And on a sunny day last week, it seems beautiful. But the fact is, every single pupil takes part, works together, wants to give things a try. And when I talk about a school, we have great co-curricular, great boarding facilities, but schools are about people. And when I think of Scarborough College pupils, I think of gritty, confident, polite, and people who, even when things are a struggle in a subject, or if they're losing in a game of rugby, they will pick themselves up and give everything a go. Now, of course, we have some outstanding pupils as well. Martina going to Oxford University last year to read music. But what I take pride in is I look at some of our Forces children who they're value added. And I think of a girl in the sixth form who's become a senior prefect, a great leader. She arrived quite shy and is now somebody who is welcoming boarders, looking after them, showing true leadership skills. And one of the quotes I wanted to read to you from her is this, about boarding. She says, Scarborough College understands our situation. The fact that we move a lot, which can be tough on Forces children. Being here means we have stability and there's a family away from our family. And what does that mean? That means we treat her as a member of our family. So when she arrives from Germany, we pick her up at the airport. It's not a stranger. It is a member of the school community. There's no extra charge for being picked up from the airport. Then when she arrives at the school, she is there with her friends, her second family. But at the weekends, we put on so many trips like all schools. But once again, there's no extra charge for that in terms of our fees. We want to have a busy school that represents that family atmosphere. And then for you, I think about the academics. What will the future hold for these students? Well, we like to be different. We don't do A-levels in the sixth form, we do the International Baccalaureate. So for Hope, who may want to study in Germany or may want to go to America, this opens up doors. But in the meantime, she'll also have a great opportunity to go to great universities. And who knows, she may want to be close to home at a university like York. In terms of what I wanted to end on with you is, please come visit us anytime. We have open days. We have an open day every Friday at the end of each month, so people can come and visit the school, and you will have a tour with a member of the SMT. But actually, you can visit at any point. And what we would love to do is for you to walk around the school and get the feeling that your child will be safe, will be happy, and actually will be absolutely shattered by the time they come home to you because they've had so much fun during a term at Scarborough College. Finally, I cannot stress enough, you need to see the house parent. You need to meet the person who's going to be looking after your child. So when at 11 o'clock at night, they need somebody to talk to, that is the person that they will be with. We take great pride in our schools. We have wonderful children. We all have great value added. We have one great subject, for example, in terms of value added. But I cannot stress enough, when you walk into a school, you will have a feeling as a family. And I hope that feeling will be, just like we have done, is that to come to Scarborough College, and who knows, you may even want to stay here yourselves. Thank you to all the schools here. The last few months has been tough for us all, but together we have worked together, and we take great pride in the education that we all offer. And whichever school you choose, your children will receive a great education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guy. And a couple of points I'd really like to stress for all of the schools here with us today. It is about meeting the people. They have got great facilities. They've got fantastic sports facilities, performing art. But yes, it is meeting the people and the house parents that's important. And also the example of Joseph, a boarding education really does provide so many opportunities for your children and the opportunity to have a go and get involved. Now I'd like to introduce you to Lottie Tullock, Deputy Head at Sedbergh School. Thank you, Lottie.
Thank you, and good morning. I'm Lottie Tullock, Deputy Head of Sedbergh, and I know everyone has said this already, but it is a genuine pleasure to be with you this morning. It's never easy being at the end of the alphabet with so many wonderful schools before us. Hopefully you're still with us and still going. I am the Deputy Head here with responsibility for the day-to-day operations of the school, but I also have one other part of my role, which is as the sort of liaison officer, I suppose, with particular interest in the welfare of our forces children. I was a boarder myself from the age of 7. My father was a naval surgeon posted across the world, so I'm very much a product of the system and incredibly grateful for the opportunities that afforded me, and I hope that gives me relative authority to understand what some of these children are going through. I very vividly remember some moments when many of our fathers were away, mothers I guess at the time then, were away in war, and what that meant to us then. So it matters that your child is in a safe and secure place. For those of you who don't know Sedbergh, you should. That's the simple message. It's a very special little place, nestled between the Yorkshire Dales and the Lake District, in a genuine area of outstanding natural beauty. I'd like to show you what's behind my window right now. It's absolutely stunning. We are a school in the senior school of 530 pupils, of whom 99% of them board. We have no flexi boarders, no weekly boarders. We have less than one handful of day pupils who are largely staff children. That is probably a fairly unique position at the moment in the country, and that is what's so critical to our children. Nobody goes anywhere, nothing happens, all of our children are here all the time, which is, in this current climate, a relatively biosecure environment. touch wood. But actually in the normal climate, that means that we have this magic gift of time, that everybody is here 7 days a week. So we don't have to cram anything into the traditional school day. If you do have day pupils, you can't hold a choir practice at 9 o'clock at night. And if your leader of the orchestra has gone home for the weekend, then the rest of the orchestra can't truly rehearse. And because of that, our children can explore absolutely everything that is of interest to them and have the professionalism and expertise on site to guide them through this. So with all of that time available, it also allows all of our staff the time to truly get to know every single child in this school, because most people live on site or in this small town. In addition to the senior school, and I mustn't forget that because that's where I'm sat right now, we do also have our own prep school, Casterton Sedbergh Prep School, nestled in the market town of Kirby Lonsdale, 10 miles away from the senior school, which does offer full boarding for children there as well from the age of 7. And that's a very special little place where children can still be children to the age of 13, and yet the sense of occasion to move up to the senior school is very much still there. As before, our senior school has 9 boarding houses where we operate the old-fashioned, as Guy has just said, but let's not call it old-fashioned, let's call it timeless value, where children eat in their boarding houses, which sounds particularly dull to focus on food, but actually what that really means is...
you very shortly then. I can see you. Okay, bye.
Someone muted me, I'm back.
Morning, everybody. Hopefully this is all working. I'm calling you from Stonyhurst. It's a great pleasure to be following on from my colleagues in the other excellent boarding schools,
Ian,
who have wonderful links with the Forces families over the years. A little bit about Stonyhurst.
Okay. I'll carry on. He's been muted. Right. Not quite sure what happened there.
I'm unmuted now.
Oh, hang on.
How's that? Is that better?
No, Ian, Lottie hadn't quite finished, so she...
Sorry, I apologise, sorry.
That's okay.
No offence taken. Yeah, I think I'm back. Right, yes, sorry, Ian, I won't be too long. So going back to our boarding houses, where our children are very, very well looked after, because they get the opportunity to sit down with their housemasters or housemistresses 3 times a day, which is actually more than they would largely get with parents at home. Guy just called the role of the housemaster or housemistress the best job in the world. Arguably it is. I was one for several years, but it's also the toughest job in the world, being pastorally responsible for that many children day and night, 7 days a week. And as a result, we spend more time and effort recruiting the right characters for that job, as we recognise just how important they are to pupils and parents. On a few sort of functional matters, our key entry points are for children at any stage through the prep school up to the end of year 8, and then traditionally at the start of year 9, occasionally into the start of year 10, and we do have a large intake into the start of year 12, but we are also fully understanding that families of Forces children don't always have the gift of time of knowing when this might become an important stable factor in their child's education, and will flex to accommodate your needs. We are very understanding of that. We offer the traditional GCSEs and A-levels in a myriad subjects, as you'd expect, with the option for a slightly more flexible curriculum at sixth form, with a variety of BTEC subjects, more vocational courses, which can run alongside A-levels. We are not academically selective. We have a comprehensive range of pupils, but we are selective on what we would call Sedbergian values, which fundamentally is we want children who, with a bit of get up and go, who will contribute to the life of school and will make the most of the education we offer them. We value their effort, which will bring results irrespective of their initial ability. At the very top end, our children will go to Oxbridge, increasing numbers over to America, to top universities over there. Most will end up at Russell Group universities, and our careers department will guide children through whatever it is they deem appropriate for them. As I said before, we're a truly full boarding school where weekends are busy, engaging, and probably the highlight of the week for most teenagers. As everyone has said already, a holistic education is what we pride ourselves on. There's so much more to school than the 9 to 5, and once you've got that bit sorted, and we will trust our teachers to achieve that for you, it's everything else that we can add to it. Sedbergh comes with an extraordinary reputation for its sporting ability, and that is very much the case. We don't hide behind that, but the risk of that is that sometimes a lot of other things get lost behind it. We're also a phenomenally good musical school, BBC Choir of the Year last year, with a strong heritage of choral singing and success in the arts. Our children are busy and breadth is key, and that makes them both interesting and interested. Guy, quoting you for the third time, sorry, just referred to something extraordinarily unique of Yorkshire grit, and I think Sedbergh would probably claim that too. And that isn't because this is a tough place to be. It just means it's a school without pretension, and that's the beauty of the North. And I can say that having been born and brought up in Portsmouth. People who do just get on with things without complaint and without fuss. And that stands our children in good stead for life. As with everyone, we could wax lyrical about what children do, what they achieve, and the opportunities available for them here. But all of that is irrelevant if we can't educate them in critical values and behaviours in life. And probably the 4 things we speak most honestly about are the need for our children to be humble and aware of their surroundings. Yesterday we were crowned the Boarding Schools Association School for Best Work in the Community, and that's something we're incredibly proud of. They're part of a much bigger picture here. Ambition, in that they absolutely set their stall out to do whatever they want to do to the best of their ability. We prefer to not use the word resilience, that's what plastics and metals are good for, but fortitude, which is a more sort of emotional ability to cope with whatever may come your way. And indeed the most important one that we wish all of our children to do, and is so critical in a boarding environment, particularly for those families who are not nearby, is the value of kindness. It's tough at times. Being a boarder can be hard. We've been doing this for 500 years, and this might be your only child or your first child experiencing this, but I promise we've been doing it for a long time, and we'd like to share that expertise with you as part of their educational journey. I'm more than happy to take questions at the end, but please do come and visit Sedbergh, and we are very much open for visits in as safe as possible way.
Thank you very much, Lottie, and for highlighting the flexibility that a school gets when it has got 99% boarders. Now I'd like to introduce you to Ian Murphy, the headmaster of Stonyhurst St Mary's Hall, part of Stonyhurst College. Good morning, Ian.
Good morning, everybody. Apologies to Lottie. I didn't mean to jump in. I've had one of those technical mornings of issues to go with everything else in the background, but I think we're working now, so I do apologise, Lottie. I want to pick up on something actually. I'd like to say that we're the other side of the Pennines, obviously. We're a Lancashire school. You're a little bit further up the road, but I do agree with the Yorkshire grit and the Lancashire. We have a link. We have a close link there. So Stonyhurst St Mary's Hall is the prep school to Stonyhurst College. We have 300 pupils in the prep school, and there is almost 500 in the college. We are 2 schools on 1 campus, so it's a 3 to 18 educational journey for the children. We have a very strong boarding culture here in the prep school, and obviously the college is predominantly boarding. A very strong UK base for our boarding, as well as a wonderful sort of international mix, and a very forward-looking sort of innovative educational model within this hugely sort of historic and traditional setting. 426 years of boarding history, and for just over 20 years now, both schools have been fully co-educational, welcoming boys and girls of all shapes and sizes, not academic selective, and our huge goal across the organisation is to help develop and grow men and women for others. So when they leave the school at 18, they've gone through a wonderful process of human formation, academically, socially, spiritually, and obviously in every aspect of the young person's all-round development. That's our ultimate goal. The setting is quite incredible. The facilities are wonderful. Very good transport links through the airports of the northwest, particularly Manchester, Liverpool, and Leeds. We're about 20 minutes from the M6 motorway, and also have excellent rail links to Preston particularly, which has a very, very fast train from London. And obviously the links are quite excellent for us. We have strong links with military families here in the prep school and obviously in the senior school also, which means we genuinely feel we understand the lives of forces children and also their parents, wherever they may be on the planet. At the moment, we've just recruited actually 3 new boarding girls into year 7 here in the prep school a couple of weeks ago at the start of term. And obviously that's their parents are in different places or currently serving, and we're very fresh and very sort of connected, I think, to the lives of the personnel at the moment. And, you know, to be honest, you know, children have increasing challenges, as we know, as they come to board, particularly with the COVID background. There are uncertainties at home. So I think, you know, the military families are just the same in that respect. We offer a forces discount, which is a form of a bursary. That's firmly established across the age range. And we also do a sort of a wide variety of transport links and airport pickups, train station pickups from all around, from London and the north. That's all included really within the fee base. We have a full Saturday programme as a boarding school for the day pupils, obviously, as well as the boarders. So it's Saturday's a full day and Sunday's also a day of activities and a little bit of downtime as well, a little bit of home time where the children have, you know, full access to everything on offer. I think in many respects, we'd think about our education, which has a cutting edge aspect, but with real traditions to support us. So there's a balance there, I think, for young people. I think we're trying to get that right with our access to, obviously, to technology, but also we've been rooted in family values and traditions, and hopefully immersed in human kindness, in how they interact with each other and how we as staff and how guide and support them and help nurture them, I think, on their individual journeys. I think, like we've all said previously, you know, any sort of virtual link to any school is helpful, but nothing can substitute, you know, coming to see a school, feel a school, meet the children, watch a school in action, talk to the staff, understand the staff, and understand how the staff are working in partnership with parents to help bring the very best out of that individual child. So, you know, obviously, any parents who, you know, who'd like to come and visit the prep school or the senior school, you have an enormously warm welcome at any time. We are taking sort of very carefully planned visits so that they can be obviously done safely, but also that has to happen if you're choosing a school for your child to board. It's absolutely critical. So obviously we'll be here for a little bit longer to take any questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ian. So that all schools get a chance to answer the questions that are quite general, I've been putting them as I receive them into the chat. So if you'd like to look at the chat, the delegates, and then again afterwards we are able to print off and keep these questions. So I think it would work better than verbal questions if you're able to put the answers into the chat, unless we get a specific question. And strong military ties is a question that we do get asked, so that was good to hear that Stonyhurst does have strong military ties. Now I'd like to introduce Trent College to you. We have Lucy Matthews, Deputy Head Co-Curricular, and Sergeant Paul Baldwin, who is CCF and Outdoor Education Coordinator. Thank you for waiting till the end, but we look forward to hearing you.
Okay, thank you very much, and morning everybody. Wow, what a marathon of fantastic schools. I almost wish I had more children to be sending them off to you. So my name's Lucy Matthews, I'm one of the deputy heads here, and this is my colleague Paul. Good morning. Bit about myself, I've been at Trent for 14 years here and have had 2 daughters through the school. So I know as a mum the fantastic, friendly, supportive community that we have here, the opportunities that children get, and the excellent academic support as well. If you've not come across us before, I hope you haven't had a look at your map this morning. Trent's location, we're sort of midway between Nottingham and Derby. So very central, excellent links north and south, not far from 2 great cities, but also the beautiful countryside of the Peak District and the Derbyshire Dales. When you think about what's great about Trent, we pride ourselves really on our happy, high achieving students and the breadth of opportunities open to them. We're a very down-to-earth school, safe, green campus with pupils from all backgrounds, like several of our schools talked about this morning, long links with the military. We've currently got 10 military families across the school, and they enjoy a wealth of opportunities. The sense of community is just so strong, and our pastoral support is one of our real strengths, with the sort of dedicated staff that we have supporting them at all levels. I'd say if you ask the boarders what they like about Trent, it's the small family feel of the boarding community, national and international boarders on our lovely green space. Everything you need is safe and secure here. We've got 4 boarding houses offering their warm and friendly home from home experience. The weekend activity programme and everything else is all inclusive, including a free music lesson as well for our musicians. And of course the weekend programme, local aqua park, tobogganing, day trips, lots of opportunities to experience life off the campus as well. Our boarding teams are really experienced and have worked for many years with the needs of forces children and children from overseas who may not see their parents for long periods. And our staff really understand the tensions and the dynamics of those kind of needs, those kind of children. So that excellent emotional support is key to our pupils thriving. I should also say, of course, for our boarders, there's excellent academic support as well, with academic teachers taking up duties in the evening. So lots of our boarders really thrive in that environment as well. I think the thing that possibly sets us apart and makes us chosen by our parents and loved by our pupils is our co-curricular provision. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Paul to chip in a bit about the sort of adventure and outdoor activities that we do. So Paul, over to you.
Okay, good morning. So a little bit about myself. Obviously, you all mentioned that the people are very important to the school, particularly the military links and you being military families. I spent 24 years in service and just recently left, having been quite pleased to be offered this role with Trent College. So I've been here 3 months now. Again, quite an important atmospheric that I've picked up is that the staff are very, very friendly, and everybody I speak to here has been here for over 15 years, so that must be a good thing. And obviously that's passed on to the students now that they've come back and have met a lot of the students, and I generally get the gist that they're very happy being here. So my previous experience I've had probably the last 10 years have been in training roles, with the last 5 spent on the local brigade cadet training team. So I've got a very, very detailed understanding and a lengthy list of qualifications in both military training and outdoor activities from that experience. So CCF-wise, got a strong CCF. Year 10 is compulsory, and then the remainder is voluntary, so that's quite a strong base there. So they complete basic syllabus activities, including we've got our own a rifle range, so a 2-2 rifle range on site, which is a valuable commodity. The value of combining the 2 roles as the school staff instructor and outdoor education coordinator, I think, is really, really clever, as there's quite a lot of crossover between the 2, because we can utilise MOD-sponsored activities when it comes to CCF, so they can support various outdoor education pieces, as well as the school doing it as well. Links to the military wise, I've remained a reserve soldier, so I'm currently the troop sergeant major at a local gun troop. So I've got strong links with the reserve and regular army still, which gives me a good understanding of service life and the British military's values and standards. There's a brief overview of activities that we've already got. Obviously the canoeing and kayaking we take part in. I'm looking to introduce stand-up paddleboarding in this term to give that a trial. Mountain biking, we've got a fleet of mountain bikes with a on-site skills area that we can use. So again, no travel required, and it's a nice safe environment to learn the skills of mountain biking. Climbing, indoor and outdoor climbing. So we've got a local climbing centre, but also great access to the Peak District for outdoor venues. Again, DFV, we've got an extensive DFV programme, but I'm looking to introduce other modes of transport, i.e. waterborne and mountain bikes to that. We're also quite close to a lot of local country parks, as well as the peaks and on site, so that gives us a massive variety of different locations to take the guys to do things. So we have Sherwood Pines Trail Centre and Cannock Chase are also quite close to us. 5 minutes away is also Spring Lakes, which is They have a ski and wakeboarding park there. So that's quite an interesting, different little activity to take the students out to. So that's quite good. So I'll hand you back over to Lucy now. I've given you a bit of a brief overview of that. Thank you very much for your time.
That's great, thank you, Paul. So we do all the other co-curricular things as well, obviously the music and the sport and the drama. Really proud of all the activities that our pupils can get involved in there. If you were watching the T20 last night, the women's team thrashing the West Indies, Sarah Glenn's an OT, she was one of our boarders, she top scored for England and took 2 wickets as well. So that was a really proud moment in women's cricket. Paul's mentioned the DofE. We can't wait for October half term when we're going to be taking all of our expeditions out. We can't camp overnight, as you'll be aware from COVID, but we are doing day walks to get all of those expeditions done. So we'll have well over 100 students finishing off their bronze, silver or gold awards over October half term. Really, you know, it's all about balance and opportunity, isn't it? It's the balance between nurture and challenge. I take your point, Lottie, about the word resilient, but I do quite like it as well. We have resilient and confident pupils, but also pupils who are thoughtful and kind, and that's what part of being a Trent pupil is all about. And healthiness, healthy of mind and healthy of body. We work really hard to make sure that our pupils get the most out of life, both academically, co-curricular, and in terms of their personal development. Everyone so far today has mentioned about coming and visiting, and really we're no different. We'd love to welcome you to Trent. It's not always going to be as sunny as it is today, but the East Midlands is known for its friendly climate. As well as an open day, we have one of those coming up on the 10th of October. Come anytime you like. We organise bespoke personal tours, socially distanced of course. Come and experience what we have, see our lovely campus, meet some of our key roles, meet Paul. And it would be really lovely to see you on site here. I should just mention before we go, we talked about the all-inclusive fees. We have actually a special scholarship for Forces families, which is our Albert Ball scholarship. Albert Ball is perhaps our most famous old trident. He was a First World War pilot, and we're very proud of him and the links that we still have with him and his family. So there's a 10% Albert Ball scholarship available to our Forces families, as well as scholarships in sport, music and drama, and academic as well. So we really look forward to welcoming you here. I hope you've had a good morning. It's been fantastic, hasn't it, listening to all of these different schools, and look forward to answering some questions. So thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much. All the outdoor activities at Trent sound absolutely fantastic. I'm sure they're very busy lives as a boarder there. We're getting quite a few questions in, so I just encourage the delegates, if you can have a look at those and answer them, so it means that you all get a chance to answer the questions rather than have them verbal questions. So now I'd like to hand over to Nikki, our education consultant. Thank you, Nikki. Take mute off, Nikki.
Finally, sorry about that. We'd like to thank all the schools for taking part this morning, and also thanks to the families who have joined us. And I hope that you've enjoyed today's presentation and it's been informative for you. Anderson Education are helping, it's our aim to help the right school, find the right child, the right school. We've been doing it for 20 years, so we do know a little bit about what we're doing, and we have been working with military families for 20 years as well. We're able to help you with the allowance and with finding a visit, and also making sure that your child, it fits in to the school that you've chosen for them. As we're going through COVID at the moment, we are looking forward to 2021, and we're encouraging families to think beyond a time when COVID is with us and everything is hopefully back to normal, and we'll be able to go and visit schools and be able to go and visit our children there and not have to worry about masks and bubbles and things like that. So we welcome any queries that you have, anything, even if it sounds a bit daft, we're happy to answer. Anderson Education will be here through COVID, and anything that you wish to ask us, please do get in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And finally, I'd like to introduce Diane Weir to you. Diane is a Forces wife and mother to 3 boys at boarding school. So for the Forces family, she really understands the situation that you're in. Thank you, Diane.
Hi, I'd just like to say, first of all, thank you to all the schools for your support. I started in this role in March, and granted it wasn't an ideal time. Obviously, you have all invested in us through the directory, and for that I would say a big thank you. It's our aim going forward to refocus the work we do with Forces families, and by doing so to offer all-round support, not just by taking an entry in the directory, but using me as a go-to point for maybe any suggestions, or having a look at your website to see how you can make yourself more Forces friendly. You know, a lot of you already have Forces families in the school, and that's wonderful. I would say to our families, we are not the go-to people for information about the Continuity of Education Allowance, to make that very clear. We can advise you as to how much it is and what the fees in certain schools and so on are, but the first port of contact for that is actually CS themselves. And if you are wondering if you're eligible for the Continuity of Education Allowance, it's definitely your chain of command in HR that you would seek first. So whichever one of you, or maybe both of you, are serving people, you need to go through your chain of command to find out if you're eligible for CEA. I'm very excited in this role. I really look forward to working with you more, and for families to get in touch. I know as a Forces wife and mum of 3 boys, when I went looking for a school, I found it really difficult because I had no idea where to start, no experience of boarding, neither had my husband, and we really did feel that we were completely out of our depth. So I do hope that anyone listening doesn't feel like that. We're here to help. It's completely free and impartial for families to use, and yeah, we very much look forward to hearing from you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. And just so the new Education Clinic directory for Forces families is now available online or from your local school or hive. So thank you, everybody. This will be available as a recording that we will send to families that weren't able to join us this morning. And we hope that you keep safe and well. Thank you very much.